welcome to Fired Happiness. I'm your host, Josh Kwok, and I am happy today to announce that my good buddy, Mr. Robbie Sanders, is on the podcast today. Robbie and I met in college. We both played college baseball together. Robbie played for his first 2 years, and we became pretty good buddies right from the start. Right from the start of freshman year, we probably the first couple of days, not even the start of the freshman year, like the first day and a half, 2 days, we became pretty good friends and stayed friends throughout college, and now post college, have remained very good friends, even though we live 1,000 miles apart. He's up in Ohio at the moment. He's been up there for a little while now, but it sounds like he's might be transitioning once again. And as you know, I'm down in Tampa area. So luckily, with this with the world we're in now, we can stay connected this far away and still have a pretty good friendship and get to see each other a couple times a year, and it works out. So with that being said, Mr. Robbie Sanders, thank you so much for being here, and please give a quick 1-2 about yourself, sir.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Love the podcast. Love what you've been doing. Happy that you're, putting that good content, positive content out there.
Thank you, man.
But just a little bit about me. I like Quack said. I went to Elizabethtown College with him. Played baseball there for 2 years. After playing for 2 years, I decided that I wanted to go in a little bit of a different direction. I wasn't playing a ton, or I wasn't really playing at all, actually. And it just got to a point where I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I enjoyed playing baseball, and I loved the, camaraderie between all the guys and everything like that. And I was very lucky to have that. But, over a course of time, it just got to a point where it was a little too much. So I ended up working at Chipotle. I worked there in the summer times, and I also worked, over Christmas breaks and holidays and things. But I worked there for 2 years during college, the last 2 years. And then right after college, I had a little bit of a down period. I think it was like 1 or 2 months where I was just looking for a job and things. And then I ended up getting a job with IRI. It's a data market research company. And we basically provide data to all retailers and manufacturers across the globe. And I've supported a few clients since graduating there. Supported Bayer Pharmaceuticals, Pinnacle Foods, which is now ConAgra, the J.M. Smucker Company, which is why I'm in Ohio. And I also supported, currently I'm supporting Bimbo Bakehouse, who has Entenmann's Donuts and, Brownberry Ora wheat, all that kind of bread and all that good stuff. So that's a little blurb about me. Like Quack said, I'm living in Ohio currently. My girlfriend and I are going to be moving back to the New Jersey, PA area in the next few months here. So definitely looking forward to that and being able to connect with people, that I grew up with and people, from college and all that good stuff. So.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So you're originally from New Jersey as well as me. But we grew up a little further away. We grew up like 45 minutes, an hour away from each other. You went to Pope John, correct?
Yes, I went to Pope John. Yeah, I basically I went to public schools my whole life, and once college hit, the better, or sorry, not college, when high school hit, out of all the colleges in the area, that one made the most sense to go to. My sister had gone there as well. I played football and baseball there. I played football for the first year and a half of school, and then I decided to focus more on baseball. And then that's kind of where, all the club baseball teams and, the summers were taken up by playing baseball. I was literally playing baseball. Sunday to Monday, and then, just doing that all over again. So it was a good time. Nothing that I regret, for sure.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So you played both baseball and football at the early start of high school. I did the same thing. I was obviously baseball throughout high school, but then I played soccer for part of my freshman year, kind of played part of the year, and then kind of messed with my knee for a little bit. And then I was like, okay, if I love baseball. Baseball is my serious thing. Like, I got to stop doing this other stuff and narrow it down to just baseball. What did you play anything else growing up besides those two?
Yeah, actually, I play I played basketball. I wasn't very
Dude.
good, but
Dude, I'm well, we can run down that rabbit hole of semi-athletic people who are very bad at certain sports, and I've definitely fell in that category of it doesn't help being the small, slow white boy in basketball. It's not it doesn't feat to your advantage very much.
Oh man, yeah, no, and the big thing with me too was, you know, my dad, he was a very, very good athlete. He was a all area athlete in 3 sports in high school. So, you know,
wow, I didn't know that.
yeah. So growing up with him, you know, I always had a lot of talent with baseball. I did. You know, I worked very hard, you know, in the early stages, obviously, to get to a good point. But,
absolutely.
I always had the most talent in baseball, and you know, he kind of recognized that at a young age. You know, right around the age of probably 12. We kind of all collectively realized, you know, basketball, soccer, that stuff's not really for me.
No. Listen, but, and we grew up very similar in terms of in that respect of kind of playing a bunch of different things and then narrowing it down to what we were probably better at, but we were also enjoyed more and had way more passion to make an effort towards. Like you said, it's about as much as we enjoy the games, but you know, it's all the work you put in outside of the games that is why the games happen. So so you have to have that passion and that drive to want to do it outside. And so I definitely understand that kind of bring up. But it's funny that, you know, I've coached down here for a minute, when I first moved down, I coached for a little bit, and I coached up in Jersey too. But even it's weird. Even younger now, I feel like it's starting to get narrow. Like you have people who are like 10, like, oh, he's going to be a baseball player. How do you know he's going to be a baseball player at 10? Like half of you don't even know what you're going to do until you're halfway through puberty. And then once you get through that, you still don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I bet you have a ton of friends who were stud soccer players as a kid and then grew up and were like, ooh, I like middle linebacker better.
Well, that's exactly it too. Like it's a double-edged sword, you know, because these parents, they think that, you know, their kid needs to focus on one sport, right? And then, you know, which is a good thing in some ways, right? But then on the other hand, it's not a good thing because, to your point, we're not letting these kids, you know, explore and see other things and try out other things. And that's the one thing that, you know, look, for instance, with my situation, it made sense. The trajectory that I was going in made more sense for me to focus more on baseball, you know? So I guess it really comes down to, you know, having a good relationship with your parents, right? Yeah. And being able to
have that conversation.
Exactly. And say, okay, what makes sense? You know, what are you succeeding the most in? And obviously it's not all about success, right?
No.
You know, you need to have fun as well. But, you know, in my opinion, when you get to a certain level, right? And if you're able to manage multiple sports and you're able to do that on a competitive level, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. But not a lot of people can do that, you know. Not a lot of people can do that.
No, and that's a great point. We all knew those guys and girls in high school who were 3-sport athletes and dominated 3 sports. And you were like, and even in college, the college people really blew my mind who played 2 sports. Not to make fun of track and cross country, but I don't track multiple seasons of the same sport does not count. But I'm saying like people who actually play different sports. But I hate to throw that jab towards cross country and track, but it's the damn truth. But
no, it's
but yeah, no, in terms of, and it's not just, especially, and you know this, especially down as you get a little older, it's not just the sport itself, it's the time commitment. Once you get to a certain point, it's not just oh, we have a 2-hour game on Sunday. It's a 2-hour long practice, the 6 days leading up to it, and it's the workout, it's the extra worrying about your diet, it's all the odds and ends that to go into it.
100%. And of all days too, to say that on Mother's Day, right? We're recording this on Mother's Day.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know, mothers, fathers, the doesn't have to do with the child putting the kid or
Yeah.
you know
Oh,
the
you're. Oh my
teenager,
gosh.
you know, putting that time in. The parents really need to put a lot of time in too, because I remember, you know, countless
Oh my
times
gosh.
my mom and dad, you know, trekking me over to
Mm-hmm.
Flemington, right, to play a Diamond
Oh my
Nation,
gosh.
or, you know, South Jersey or Maryland or Delaware or Pennsylvania. It's crazy, man. So
You're
just
so right.
a quick shout out to all the
Yes.
moms out
Thank
there,
you.
right?
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank you
dads.
to all of them. Yes. Yes. That's a great. I appreciate. That's a great bring up as well. That's a great point. But yeah, no, it's a wild ride though. It's a ton of fun. I like you said, I wouldn't change it for the world. And everybody gets off the train eventually at some point. And some at some end before high school and don't want to play high school sports, because even high school sports are a time commitment. Um, and then some the balance becomes out of balance in college. And but it's amazing the lessons that you learn playing sports,
Yeah, man.
that translate to so many areas of life.
Yep, I agree, man. It's funny that you bring that up, because I was interviewing someone the other day for the company that I work for, and she was a Division I softball player, and
Okay.
she and I were talking about, you know, how there's so many different instances from playing competitive sports our whole lives, that we have applied those instances to our everyday work lives.
Yep.
You know, it's so important, growing up and learning how to be a part of a team, right? And having to work with people that, you know, you may like very, very much, and you may not like them at all, right? Let's just be honest. That's
100%.
the way life is. So we were talking about a lot about that, and, you know, how you need to apply the things that you're learning in these team sports to everyday lives, you know, once you get a little bit older. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%, dude. 1,000%. It's funny you bring up interviews and having a discussion about college sports. It's funny. I've been on a handful of interviews, obviously in my first couple of years out of college, and I'd probably say in the 4-ish years we've been out, I've probably been on I don't know 15, 20 interviews with various points in my life, right? And I'd say out of those 15 or 20, almost none of them, I'd say less than 5 of them asked my college major, but all of them had a conversation about me about playing college baseball. Yeah. All 15 or 20 out of 15 or 20. It was absolutely, and listen, you know, not that we played I didn't play at Virginia Tech. You know that. I didn't play at Texas. Like, you know what I mean? Like we as much as I absolutely loved, and I know we had different experiences, but I loved my experience there. But I knew out of myself, I was playing 4 more years of fun. I knew there was no next level for me. I knew that from my fucking sophomore year of high school. I knew the next level was the level. Like, that was it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and some people don't have that realization. Some people do, but I knew my talent level ended somewhere, very realistically. But
no, 100%, man. And to add on to that, you know, when people see on resumes that you went to college and you played a college sport, a lot of people recognize, and most people should recognize, how much of a time commitment that is.
The balance,
and,
yes,
yeah, 100%. And it's really hard to explain to people, you know, even at the Division III level that we both played at. It was very, very time consuming, you know, and it was like a second job.
Yeah, no. When you're the difference is when you're in season or when you're out of season, like you're out of season. But when you're in season, it's still 6 days a week. It's still weekends. It's still, but again, I loved it. It was great.
For sure.
But yeah, no, it's a time commitment. It's so yeah, that balance of being able to and again, I wasn't a fucking stellar student by any measurement of stellar student. Like there's no bar that is like the Josh bar where it's like, oh, this was a good student. This is the Josh bar. No.
Hey, you graduated.
I got
bro.
the piece of paper, bro. That's exactly. But it's still that balance is key. Being able to balance that, and to both of our credits, we both also worked a pretty good amount in college. Obviously, a lot of people out there work like fucking full-time jobs and then still go to college. So we didn't obviously do that, but
yeah, man, I agree. I worked. I remember in college, I worked at the gym down the road.
Yes.
And then I also worked. And you're never going to believe this. Or actually, I think you probably remember this, but I worked in the dish room.
Yeah, the freshman year.
Yeah, in the cafeteria.
Yeah, dude.
I tell you what, to everybody that's listening to this, just go to school, work hard so you never have to do that, because that put hair on my chest.
No, listen, I can remember the atrocities that we would put onto trays and then put into that conveyor belt and never think about it. And then there's somebody on the back end of that conveyor belt doing this shit.
Yeah, and I remember freshman year,
oh my God.
When we would be coming back, after like our second time practicing in the day, and we'd all be eating together and everything, and we'd put stuff back on the conveyor belt. And I'd look at like Champ and other guys, and I'd say, guys, you don't know what it's like being back there, man. What you're doing right now is so disrespectful.
Oh my God, I love it. That was, oh my gosh. But yeah, no, it's about finding that balance of being able to have a social life and have fun, get school done, whatever measure of that is for everybody. And then also to add some extra stuff onto there. Like even, we both worked multiple like on campus jobs. As stupid as it was still hours a week that was driven somewhere else. Like it was still creating better spent time in some ways, but it's, again, it comes down to that balance, man. Just like anything in life, as much as me, it's as much as I want to dive in and get every ounce of all this out of life, but you can't, like, who is it, Big Sean, you can't, with all the drive with all the drive in the world, you still need gas. Like it's still, you still need that motivation to keep going, and that whatever it is that keeps you going. You need to find that passion, and enough passion changes. Like for both of us, for 15 plus years of our life, our passion was sports, was playing sports, I should say. And we got to a point, unfortunately, neither of us are professional athletes. And so we got to a point where we're like, okay, we need to get to the next step. Like, you know what I mean? Like use this step, like you said, like you were saying with the interview, but we need to get to the next step. So I agree. Sports, growing up playing sports was one of the best transitions to life lessons I think I could have had.
I agree.
I was, yep. And almost regardless of the sport, like I had buddies that played hockey and buddies that played lacrosse, and I didn't play any of those, or football or any of them, but they still translate the skills, the lessons, the getting your teeth kicked in and then having to stand back up is a lesson all in itself, man.
Oh, 100%. And one more thing to add on to that, too.
Yeah.
The cool thing about, for me living in Ohio now, going back home and say, I'll be at the gym and I'll run into an old coach of mine, right?
Yeah.
And seeing them and telling them, because I wear my heart on my sleeve, as you know. Man.
Always.
I'm very honest with people. I tell people how it is, and I have seen coaches, in the gym, like I said, and said like, hey, I just want you to know how much of an impact you had on my life. And I feel like that's also important too, right? Big. Because there's gratitude. There's life lessons. I'm sorry.
I said that's gratitude. Sorry, it's gratitude. That's so much. That's the key to life. I think is gratitude, is being grateful for those things.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
100%.
Continue.
No,
Please
yeah,
continue. That's awesome.
and yeah, it's important to recognize, those people, right? Because
Yes.
you're learning very important lessons by being on these teams and being a part of, groups and all of that. But the people that spend the time to help you and
Mm-hmm.
to teach you the sport, right, and to teach
Yeah.
you the right things and the right way to carry yourself and all that, it's so
Yes.
important. And
Yes.
it really goes unlooked, unfortunately, so.
No, listen. I am extremely fortunate that I know everybody says this, but I have the best parents in the world. But I also can think back to my 7 through 22-year age group or age range, and think of countless coaches who have said something or done something or just went out of their way for something that, like you said, that changes your perspective on things, that changes your if you're willing to see it, changes your view on it.
Oh yeah, and to add on to that too, unfortunately, when I was younger, I didn't notice that sort of stuff,
Yeah, listen, nobody
and
does. We're all
yeah,
we're all young and dumb. We're still young and
exactly,
dumb.
exactly. So that's just another thing too. When
Absolutely.
as you get older, you start to recognize this stuff, and you see these people, around and whatever, and
No.
you're like, wow, like they had
Yes.
such an impact, man, and it's
Yes.
just awesome to it's awesome to recognize, really.
No, but to your absolute credit, my friend, to have and honestly, it's a little bit of courage to go up and go out of your way and thank them. Like that's key, man. That's big. That's not only is that selfishly good for you, because by expressing gratitude, it comes back. I fully believe that. Um, but you don't know that what that person is going through. That person could be having the worst fucking week of
Oh
their
yeah.
life, and by you just saying, "Hey, Jim, man, I don't think you remember or can remember all of it, but you really helped me out when I was younger."
Yep.
And that comes full circle, man. So like, yes, when you were 10 and you needed some advice because you just struck out and you threw your helmet, because that's what every 10-year-old fucking does. Um, and then that coach sat you down and be like, Robbie, man, you're gonna strike out 200,000 more times in your life if you're lucky to play that much baseball.
Oh right.
Enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like but those, you have to go back and thank that and be grateful for that. And that's big, man. That's awesome. I love to hear that. Because I really do think that going out of your way just by saying thank you has a big effect. And for me, I'm trying to do it, and it might sound a little corny, but I'm trying to do it when you see veterans, especially older ones. And I'm definitely not great about it. I definitely, in my head, I'll walk by one of them and be like, say thank you, say thank you, say thank you, and then a fucking little bitch comes out. But it's but you know what I mean? Like even little things like that, because again, you just never know what people are going through. So
I agree.
if
I
if you
agree.
if you could spend just a little bit of effort to possibly make someone's day better, then I don't know why you wouldn't. So you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's so that's I love that you brought that up in terms of going out of your way to thank somebody who has at one time helped you out, even if it was 25 years ago. Who
Yeah.
cares? Who
Yep.
cares if you're 25 years late to a thank you? Say thank you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I agree, man. I
Um,
agree.
and I think that's big, man. That's a really big, un uh, undervalued. I don't want to say skill, because I don't think it's a skill. Quality,
Yeah.
undervalued quality. Um, it's I love that, man. That's a ton of what my content I try to produce is circled around is being thankful, and I really do think that if you truly stop for a second and just are grateful for whatever situation you're in, and I know not every situation is great, I know, but if you stop and just say thanks for this lesson, thanks for this moment of growth, like it'll change the way you view things. And I know that's always not always possible. But I don't know. I'm going on my ramble now, but it's
no, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It is important, and it's important to recognize it earlier than, you know, it gets to a point where it's too late, and you're like, you know, you don't want to have any regrets, like we always say, right? No regrets. So just have no regrets, and do what is right.
No,
try to promote positivity. That's the most important thing.
No, and that's a great kind of lead into this next point, my friend. As you know, I've been creating content for about a year now. I started last February, so about a year and change. And not as consistent as I want, but it's all a work in progress, you know. But you, my friend, have just started creating your own kind of content stream as well. Do you want to kind of elaborate on that, my friend? And
for sure.
Hell yeah.
So basically, a few months ago, I would say I think it was either February or March. I just decided that I wanted to start posting positive content, right? Kind of similar to you, but in a different forum. So, you know, in college, I had the great honor of being roommates with Richie, right? And I tell you what, I love that man. He has he has, you know, brought so many positive things into my life, and he doesn't even know it, you know? So, you know, he and
real quick before you, I want you to continue on this path, but real quick, it is so funny you bring that up because, as you know, the first year with Richie, we all thought he was an axe murderer. You obviously had a much better relationship being his roommate. But like outside, we all thought he was an axe murderer. But real shit, dude, I saw him when they came down like a month or two ago to see Colby and Kirsten down in Venice. I saw him in Bus and Port. Let me tell you, I was shocked at how personable Richie was, and how amazing the conversation I had. And this is absolute true. How much genuine what's the word I'm looking for? Just caringness he had. And I was like, God damn, this is a totally different human being we started to see it towards the end. So it wasn't like he was a crazy man the whole time, but and I love you, Rich, but it was I honestly, I was so shocked at how much I enjoyed hanging out with him. I'm gonna be honest, that when I saw him last month.
I agree, man.
And I really do. And there was moments when, but honestly, it only came out in college when you saw Drunk Richie. When you saw Drunk Richie, that was a true like loving Richie that came out.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to tell you that positive Richie story. But please continue. So he had that positive effect on you because he was a fucking gym nut. I mean, he is a gym nut, but he was especially. So continue, please.
Yeah, and I can't just attribute it all to Richie. Really quick, I have to throw a shout out to one of my best friends, Chris Bonaro. He also was a big influence on me as well. But you know, he basically I had started working out before the baseball seasons, right? And I was working out a little bit with my friend Chris, and then, you know, but to be honest with you, I wasn't really into it, right? We were doing, you know, high intensity interval training, calisthenics, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I just, you know, at that point in my life, I wasn't interested in it at all.
100%.
And then, you know, once I started going to the gym with Richie and Nick Grasso, you know, we started doing it a lot. We started going to the gym a lot, and it really, I realized that it was a great, you know, place for me to let off steam, man, you know? It was just, you know, cool also seeing, you know, how Richie cared so much about his, you know, his figure, what he was putting in his mouth, all that kind of stuff, right? And I, in a way, looked up to him for that.
100%.
You know?
100%.
And obviously the same thing with my friend Chris, but you know, it was just something that you know, my dad growing up my whole life was like, come on, Rob, you got to lift weights. Come on, Rob, you got to lift weights. But, you know, it wasn't that easy because I didn't have anybody to kind of do it with, you know? you know, in any lifting journey, I'd say, most people you know, have somebody that they kind of start with, you know,
Yep.
and I didn't have that. So, to make a long story short, you know, they were a good positive impact on that and everything. And, you know, over the course of time, I've really started to enjoy it a lot more. You know, it's something that I've, you know, wish I kind of went a different path sometimes. You know, I got a, you know, a business degree, and sometimes I'm like, you know, maybe I should have done something, you know, in that manner, right? But it would have been hard to realize that because I didn't get really into it until, you know, like I said, freshman, sophomore ish, right? So, but yeah, man, I just I'm starting to put content out, and you know, things that I enjoy. You know, I was looking to try to get sponsored by a supplement company, and I looked into some different options and things, and I found Project AD that I'm a part of now, and I'm like a brand ambassador.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, it's going well, man. I'm getting a lot of, you know, people use my referral code and everything, which is cool. And it's awesome, man. I'm happy that people, you know, are, you know, supporting me. You know,
absolutely.
It's a great feeling when people go out of their way to support you, right? So
100%.
yeah, man. But to add on to the piece of putting content out there, the biggest thing is the fear of getting judged, right?
100%.
That's what everyone is worried about, let's be honest. You know, and unfortunately, with the way our world is today, it's always about social media, right? Yep. Oh, well, did you see what they posted? Or, oh, what did you see what they did? Or blah, 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 blah. And again, I just got to a point, man, where I'm like, I don't really care what people think. You know, if they
it's the truth, man.
Yeah, if they have something positive to say, then that's awesome. And if you have something negative to say, then you can do that too, man. Like I really don't mind. And you know, if you wanna give me advice on something, I'll totally listen to it. I'm not you know, adverse to that or anything, but yeah, I just got to a point, man, where I'm like, I enjoy this. It's something that I do every day from you know, 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. every day, right? And you know, I'm doing cardio in the afternoon, or I'm doing other things to keep my body in check. But yeah, man, I'm just happy to do it, and I'm happy that people are liking it and everything. So
no, that's amazing, dude. And you're totally right in terms of it's definitely a huge part of the hesitation at times is getting judged or not. Or for me, it was also part kind of knowing I wanted to create content, but not really knowing what I wanted to create, or kind of like a theme or really really what I want to create. And so that for me, at least, it was trying to figure out, I knew I wanted to create something positive. I knew it was something semi-financial based because I'm pretty interested in that. And ultimately it came down to happiness. So I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer for me. So yeah, so I love that you kind of have dove headfirst into this. And we've talked about it, the kind of the reasoning a little bit behind at times, and you touched upon it. It's amazing having a small positive effect on somebody. So for you who you're creating largely workout videos and positive content to kind of get people moving and have a positive effect on your health, because at the end of the day, this is the only meat wagon we're able to have. So might as well try to and you know, I'm not fantastic at it, but try to take as best care as we can. And it really is amazing to post something, or to, I don't want to say just post something, but to have someone, just like I had a person reach out. It was one of the first times like someone I didn't know reached out to me on my account, right? And it was like, oh, I love the content, keep posting, or something. Like, it's just something as stupid as that comment, and it made me so freaking happy. I can't tell you, like that, like, and it was, I don't even remember what it was, but it was it was just such a small piece of positivity that I'm like, I love this. This is the reason I'm doing this, is to, like you said, there's so much conflict and hate and negativity and he said, who said, she said on social media nowadays. I know you have to be on here to be relevant. So if I'm going to be on here, I want to produce something positive. I want to produce something that isn't just positive for me, but positive for others and positive for the planet and positive for, or just stuff that, and we talked about it even before recording, just stuff that there's enough conflict. There's enough negative. I want to create something that isn't. I want to be the outsider in terms of, I don't need to be keeping up with the Kardashians over here. I need to be keeping up with what's best for what's allowing me to create the largest positive ripple that I can.
Yeah. No, for sure. And to add on to that too,
mm-hmm.
like,
no, of course.
The two things that I took away from what you just said, one, I totally forgot, another big reason, and I don't know if I said this before,
yeah.
But another big reason why I wanted to start posting stuff was because I looked at what you were posting and I realized, you have no shame. You do it. I appreciate that. Love it. And you are just trying to your point, cause positivity,
Yep.
And I realized that, you don't care what people think, and you care what people think in a positive way. Right. Mm-hmm. But you don't care, what it is that you're putting out, and you're just doing it because you love to do it. And you, again, want to just make people happy, you know?
Yep.
And so that's another thing I wanted to give you a shout out.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
A big reason why I started to do things.
No, but thank you.
Another thing too, on the whole content, subject, I was reading a fitness influencer's, post the other day, and I don't know if you know this, on Instagram, they do these like ask me something or right, you click on it, you could write something
on the stories and stuff.
Yeah, on the stories, and this person wrote, I'm trying to start my fitness page, right? And obviously this applies to both of us. Like, I'm trying to start my fitness page, and nobody is, liking it, or no one is following me, or no one is looking at it, whatever. And the person's response was, just continue to put stuff out there, and continue to, do your best, right? Like, continue to get better every day, right? Every single post, every single this, every single that. And that's just another thing to think about and to bring into your everyday. Like, if you want to continue to do this, you just want to, get better every day, right?
Yeah. Yep. And listen, I agree fully. And to add on to that, to not just the get better every day, which I agree full-heartedly, but embracing, this is going to sound weird, but embracing sucking every day too. So like, I still think, like I said, I'm over a year into creating content. I think I'm like over 100 posts on Instagram, and then like 20, I think this is episode 23 of Fired Happiness. And I still think for largely the content sucks in terms of me producing, because it's basically just me literally doing a bare minimum recording or bare minimum photo, not bare minimum, but like no editing, it's just me. Oh, this looks good. This is something that I enjoy. This is something that makes me happy. Right. And like I said, almost I'm enjoying the fact that I suck at times at these. I still say, even on this one, at some point I try to say content creation, and I splurred every word like I'm drunk as hell. And, but I almost enjoy that fact, because I hope to, at some point, not even in that respect, you see the progress, and that's enjoyable. And I absolutely, want to say that for sure. So like the slight improvements are enjoyable when you suck so bad. But it's enjoyable to suck at something. Like it's a very cool feeling to be an amateur at something and to totally suck at something, because every small improvement shows. So it's not just like when you're playing a sport for 10 years, by the end, or 15 years, by the end, you're like, it's hard to see the the big improvements anymore because you're just refined. You're making small small changes,
Yep.
small adjustments.
I agree.
But when you're kind of really rough around the edges, it's cool seeing the progression. So I definitely agree in terms of like just keep creating, even if your stuff isn't getting anything. And I get very little traction, and I'm okay with that because I hope at some point it isn't very little traction. So it like that I can embrace and remember. It's just like I worked for a company, a vape company, for a couple of years, and at the start of it, the owners were filling their own bottles, and like that was just part of the process, and labeling their own bottles, and like
Yep.
so like in order for you to be that 20-year overnight success, you gotta allow yourself to go through those beginning stages and to your same point of progressing every day, but not being afraid to suck as
Yeah,
well.
no, for
So
sure.
like, and you probably see it fully with working out as well. Like if you're doing, it's easy to be good at something that you do every day, but it's harder to change your workout up and do new stuff and challenge yourself, because you might not do it as fluently or as much weight, but you're like, this is a good workout. I have to start to build on this. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's, it's funny that you say that too, because by putting content out there, I've realized that I've been trying new things because I'm trying to put more unique content out there. So no, I agree, and I like that. Putting these videos out there has forced me to try new things, get out of my comfort zone, and bring a camera into the gym, right? It's funny, man. I mean, the looks that you get are quite comical, but I understand it's not normal bringing a camera in the gym, right? But just, and then one more thing to add on to that,
of course,
to add on to the small successes. I post videos. I've probably posted, I don't know, like 15 or 20. And over the course of time, like you look at views, you look at likes, you look at this stuff, and it's not about that, but it's but obviously that's what gets you more of a following, right? And the small successes are, I've seen consistently 600 views on videos, which is about what my follower ratio is. I think I have 800 followers, something like that. But at the end of the day, I got over 1,500 views on my post the other day.
That's amazing.
So it goes to show that I to your point, I've been embracing the suck for a little while. And
it's been good, man. It's been really good.
Yeah, it's just cool. It's just again, it's just cool to see little progress like that, and to put some time into something and to see that progress. So
and you brought up a great point in terms of by creating this content, it's forced you to kind of think of different things because you wanted to create new content. Like you can't just post the same shoulder workout every day. Say you do shoulders on Thursdays, you can't do the same shoulder workout every Thursday because you're gonna post the same video and it's gonna suck. Like, you know what I mean? It's so it forces you to be like, I'm gonna add this into my workout because this will kind of be different and add a twist. To that same point, for me, it was I liked taking pictures of like nice nature and stuff. So it kind of forced me to go to different spots and to not just go on my same routine, my same route, and to kind of like you said, get out of my comfort zone and to go find new content to create, which kind of forces you to kind of change it up yourself and to change up your routine.
Yep. And it also continues to make your brain work, right? Because you're
always challenging.
The thing that I struggle with is I don't have, people make fun of me for saying this, but I don't have an imagination. I struggle with that. I struggle to see, think of something from the ground up and being able to be like, oh my God, think of this, look at this great idea, right?
Yep.
So, I like to do that too, and try to, keep myself on my toes. So I am thinking of new things and trying out new things and putting new things out there.
No, and that's the key, man. Is not to be afraid to post something that is going to get 0 likes. And
Yeah.
that's a big, in today's social media world, that's a big
Oh my God.
that's a
Yeah,
big
for sure.
confidence, self-confidence, I should say, in terms of, like, I might get 0 views, 0 likes, 0 everything on this post, but I'm still going to post it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
and yeah, no, if you're posting it for the right reasons, I think you're gonna get found. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're, whether it takes 2 weeks, 2 years, 20 years, I think if you're doing it right and you're putting good out, I think good comes back.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that really is true. I'd like to quickly go back real quick for a second, because you brought up a point a few minutes ago that really that I wrote down, that I want to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
That you said you obviously went down the business finance path in college, and you had wished at times that you had, looking back now, obviously hindsight's 2020, to possibly have done something more, maybe in the fitness area, or in that realm. But I wanted you to bring up I don't know, I might get this wrong, your uncle, the gym,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
business.
yeah, yeah.
So kind of to touch on, we brought up using your sport life skills in real life, but also converting your business skills that you might not want to use for AKA straight business purposes, but in a business that you enjoy or love, or truly passionate about. You could be using the knowledge you gain from your business degree in a business you enjoy. So if you wouldn't mind bringing up, talking about the gym real quick,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and kind of how that process started with him, maybe, and that kind of tie-in of business and a passion.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's I feel bad, right? Because as we're going through this call, and we've been
Mm-hmm.
talking about, people that have influenced me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I said, you and my friend Chris and Richie and Nick and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But my uncle has been a big
Yeah.
influence on that, side of my life as well, right? Because that was another thing. When I was younger, yeah, I would go to my aunt and uncles, and they would, get me baseball lessons and hitting
Mm-hmm.
lessons and stuff, because my uncle, knows a lot of people in the industry and things. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I just wanted to just be me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, like I took all of those things for granted, and to
Oh
your
yeah.
point,
Oh
hindsight's
yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting off on a tangent, but basically what I'm saying is, yeah, my uncle's been a great influence on that, side of my life as well. And, his knowledge is amazing. So what he does is, he started from the ground up. He was a trainer, in various gyms, or in the Long Island area for a very long time. And, he was studying to get, his degrees and everything, physical fitness related, and nutrition related, and strength and conditioning related, and all that. And, yeah, he's been able to put up a business that it's called Acceleration Sports Training, and it's nothing short of amazing. He has a business in Deer Park, and he has another business a few minutes away from there that he partners with another guy with. And it's just amazing, man. He's got athletes from the Major League Baseball to the NFL to Major League Lacrosse, to MMA, and then he's got
Wow.
a handful of Division I athletes all across the board, man. Like, you name it, he's
Yeah.
got it. So it's just really cool to see, man. And I like you said, like, sometimes I think about what I decided to do, and what I moved forward with, and I love business, man. It was a good decision. It
Yeah.
was.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the thing that I'm struggling with now is that I just am so interested in
Yes.
lifting and everything like that, and I'm like, oh man, it would have been cool if I did something in that field, because I also think it's such a developing field too, still. Because I was talking to my other buddy Chris about this the other day, and when we were in high school, strength conditioning, lifting weights, like, it was there. Obviously, it's always been there. but there was no emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was no, and I went to a top parochial school, man, and
Yep. Yeah.
there was no focus on it, you know, and
Yep.
it's just crazy how, you know, in the last 5 to 10 years, how much it's developed and how important it is, right? Because, you know, you go to my uncle's Instagram, you see all of these amazing videos of, you know, you know, getting someone that has a torn ACL back to the field in 6 months. Like, can you imagine the
Yeah.
feeling? Can
Just
you imagine
yeah.
the feeling of that? I mean, that's
No.
awesome.
Exactly. It's combining your passion, excuse me, of something that brings you happiness internally, which is, say, it's for this example, it's you working out. This is something internally that is something that you enjoy, something that you're passionate about for your own personal health.
Right.
And now you can find that combination of not only using that passion to create a positive ripple in terms of helping other people find their health path and finding their whatever. Everybody's on a different path. Everybody's trying to figure it out. And everybody has different needs. Not everybody can go and try to lift like a bodybuilder. It's just not somebody's goal. Some people are runners. Some people fucking hate running, aka me. Like, I can't. The thought of going out and going for a jog right now, I'd rather fucking stick a fork in my eyeball. It's, but it's everybody's health path and is their own, and so you have to find something that motivates you to get to that. And by you creating this content is it, and we've talked about it, you hope that somebody that maybe that health isn't their number one priority right now, maybe their physical health isn't in the top priorities, maybe this puts it in their top priority. Maybe this just sparks them enough to, instead of sitting here watching another episode, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna get some fresh air. Like, as minimal as that is, that can change your life. Like, that has exponential ripple effect if you can use it.
I agree, man. I agree. Yeah, and also I've noticed that. You know, I've
Yes.
noticed that. You know, I'm having people that I may have not talked to in a while, or you know, I talked to a few days ago, right? But they're reaching out to me and they're asking me what I did to, you know, lose weight, or what I did to gain muscle, or
Yeah.
can I help them out with something, or can I explain to them how I did this or that, and again, like, I think I said this to Gabby the other day, because someone reached out to me, and I looked at her and I said, going back to our point before, I said, that just made my day.
Yes.
You know, and
yes.
and it's cool because I'm, you know, showing positivity and having someone wanting to reach out to me, but they're also not realizing what they're doing to me, right?
Yes.
They're making me happy and everything like that. So it's cool, man. It's a cool process.
That goes full circle back to you thanking an old coach. But just by you throwing a rock into a lake, by saying thank you, you don't know where that ripple is going to go to. That guy who you thanked could have been having the worst week of his life and was going home to be miserable and was going to fight with his wife and just have a bad night. By you thanking him, he went home and had a better attitude towards his wife. Then his wife had a better attitude towards him, and then she had a better attitude at work the next day. So you just don't know what your ripple effect is going to have. And
sure.
and you may never know what your ripple effect may have, but
that's why you got to just get out there and do it.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, it's amazing. Not to sound corny, but I can remember, in college, I think it was our junior year. Somebody had just graduated and their girlfriend was still there. And, she was in passing in one of the hallways or something, and I just smiled and waved and said hello, right? And that person, not the girlfriend, the guy that I played baseball with, reached out to me that day and just thanked me for waving and saying hi to her. So, like, you just never know what just a simple smile, how you doing, is gonna do. So
100%.
So at the end of the day, just say hi. Like, in a world that wants to be, and I'm terrible at it too, the least conversational world in the history of the planet, just say hi. Just break that ice. It's amazing what happens when you just say hi.
Oh yeah, man. You'll catch me. You'll catch me waving to everybody. And
Yes,
Gabby's like, Why'd you just wave to them? And I'm like, oh, why not?
I say it all the time. I do it to an awkward degree. An awkward degree do I wave and nod like but again, I would rather be that guy than and we all know the people who you literally walk by, you wave, you smile, and they don't even give you the eye contact. Like, it's one thing to make eye contact, ignore, okay, but you're not even gonna look up, not even gonna, you know my presence is here, but
Right,
like it's not even worth the effort it takes you to raise your neck.
Oh, right.
So
For
it's
sure, man. For sure. And
so
it's like you and I should go buy Jeep Wranglers and become in the Jeep Wrangler community so that we could just wave to all the other Jeep Wranglers.
Oh god, that's amazing. That's amazing, dude. But effort. This is a great kind of tie into another topic we kind of wanted to discuss, was effort in relationships, various relationships, not just romantic, but friendships, parents, brothers, siblings, extended family, grandparents. So we talk often about making effort for relationships and friendships where it's a mutual effort. It's a mutual if I reach out, I know you're gonna, even if you can't reach out right away, I know you're gonna get back. You know what I mean? It's not a even if we all know that we all suck at times, but it's a even if it's gonna be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm gonna be there. Like, you know what I mean? It's and to see, and we'll use the term funnel, the funnel down of the number of relationships you have. Yep. As you get slightly older. We all had I'm going to use high school as a comparison. We all had 100 friends in high school, say 100 close friends. Yep. You get to college and you might have more friends, but that funnel kind of drifts down a little bit longer. And then now you have really 50 close friends. And then you get kind of out of college and grow up a little bit more and kind of drift a little bit more. And then you really see who wants to make an effort to have a friendship and have a connection with your life. And so you see that funnel start to really, as it gets closer to the bottom of that funnel, it starts to get really kind of thinner and thinner. And then you start to see really who not only makes the effort, but who's worth making an effort for.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I agree, man. And it's important. Like it's so important, you know, to reach out and to just drop a message every once in a while to friends, right? To check in on them. Because, you know, to your point before, you know, and not to sidetrack, but, you know,
no,
just one message, you know, can improve a day, right?
Yes.
You know, I find myself, you know, but every relationship's different though, you know?
Yes.
So, you know, for instance, my relationship with you is that we talk on the phone, you know, we call each other every 2 to 3 weeks and we'll chat for an hour, and, you know, and that's how we communicate. Right. But then, you know, with my other friend, Chris, for example, you know, we text every day, you know, and we just chat about random things. Right.
Yep.
And then last but not least, like, I'll just talk about Frank Canuso. Like, it's the relationship with him. You know, he calls me and, you know, we chat for an hour. We you know, we talk about random things, whatever. And that's how we communicate. Like, we don't text, you know, but again, it's all about finding that common ground and being able to just work with that, you know. And again, people don't realize what one positive text or one hey, how you doing kind of text really what it really does, you know.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You're 1,000% right. It's and to that same point, it's kind of almost like weird or cliche, or to reach out to a buddy and be like, hey, I hope you have a great day, or something just as simple as that. It's kind of weird, right? It's a weird thing to do, but you don't know how much of a positive effect. Like, oh, hey bro, hope your week's going well. Like, just as simple as shit like that. It truly does. It makes a huge difference in a world that it's so easy to be connected to people. It's at times so easy to also disconnect with people.
Oh, for sure, man. for sure. And to add on to that too, like, you know, gonna be a little vulnerable here.
No, hell yeah.
Back in college, and we've talked about this plenty of times, like, if I didn't have you, I don't know if I would have made it. I mean, that's just point blank how it was, because, you know, I didn't play. Wasn't playing. You know, I was on an opposite schedule as all the guys were.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All my closest friends. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had other friends.
No. But, definitely. Yep.
You know, my closest friends in the latter half of college were the baseball guys. You know, and we were on different schedules. You guys were, you know, either practicing in the morning or in the afternoon, right? And then you guys would be able to hang out at night and everything. And I was working nights. You know?
Yep.
So, you know, another shout out to you. Like,
no, I appreciate it, man.
Dude, I would not have been
it's
able
love,
to
brother. Listen, and like we always say, it comes full circle, bro. It's when I was struggling down here with my my previous job, and I was really in a mental fucking funk, and everybody goes through funks. Everybody goes through funks. Everybody goes through lows. Everybody goes through those moments of loneliness. So whether that's at 22, at 18, at 16, or anytime, or it could just be a random Tuesday. Like, it's
right.
It's so I appreciate that, man, but it does come full circle. So you were there then when I needed it, when I just needed a phone conversation to, bro, there's 3 or 4 of my fucking friends that I called. You were one of them that, bro, I couldn't speak. I was just crying, sitting there crying. But you guys would just sit there, have a conversation with me, amuse my dumb ass. But those things are the difference makers in life. So it really does. It comes full circle, and the true friendships and the true connections, they last. And you had mentioned Mr. Frank Canuso, who I hope to one day have on here as well, who is, again, one of those people who really makes an effort towards keeping that connection. And
of course, yeah,
and and to Frank's credit, man, he is he's always reaching out. He's always trying to stay connected.
100%.
And so, yeah, no, it's big, man. It's a big thing to just drop some love every now and then. I know it's a weird thing to do, and it's a weird thing to say, but it's true. It's amazing with just a simple, hey, bro, like, hope you're doing well. Just thought about you. Hope things are well. Just simple shit to again, even your best friends. Nobody really knows. There's very few people that really know you, like really know what's going on. Like, you might open up to Gab and maybe one or 2 other people, but there's still shit that you hold in. So that shit that's still holding in, it still has an effect. So just by maybe just lightening the mood by, like, you sent me something a while ago. If you were fucking bored one day, you were taking all those fucking Snapchat filter videos or whatever. And I still have that shit. And dude, I can't tell you. I don't know if I was in a shitty mood or not, but I can't tell you how fucking happy I was after that. It was as simple as a 30-second stupid ass Robbie video, but but you don't know. So, like, I am all about the just making small efforts to make a big difference. And again, I've kind of mentioned it a couple times on here. I didn't always have a fantastic relationship with my grandparents. Just like everybody, you don't appreciate it as much when you're younger.
Yeah, for sure.
But then you realize how finite that time is.
Oh yeah.
And so probably just after graduating college, it definitely was not in college. Probably a year or so after graduating college, I kind of realized it, and really, honestly, it was probably living with my cousin Nina. She's amazing at staying in touch with everybody and kind of reaching out. So she definitely had that effect on me. But I started reaching out, making an effort to reach out to my grandparents. And I was extremely fortunate because, like, for 6 months to a year, before my grandpa passed, I got to have conversations with him that I didn't have my whole life, that I got to, like, even, it goes back to just being in the ear sometimes. I can remember vividly sitting on my couch on a Sunday, and he was telling me about a story that he wants to, or he wanted to ultimately to go on a van trip, right? He wanted to live out of his van, and he wanted to die in the woods. That was his ultimate goal, in all honesty. And he told me that on the phone, and I can remember him telling me that. And it was just a weird thing to have your grandparent or parent tell you how they want to die. It's just a weird, surreal feeling.
No, I agree, man.
But I can vividly remember sitting there on my chair, and I listened to him for like 45 minutes, and to hear that much passion and energy coming from him, and I didn't do much. I kind of just sat there and listened for 45 minutes.
Right.
And not that it was a huge thing, but it gave him 45 minutes of talking to somebody that it gave him an ear for 45 minutes, and it gave him happiness for 45 minutes to tell me about what he was planning and what he was scheming. And again, not to toot my own horn, but it made a difference. And now I get to look back and be like, I got to have that. I got to have those moments. And so and again, is every time amazing? No, but again, it's just making those small efforts to possibly make a big difference. So it's making those small efforts in relationships and friendships and family ties that really make the difference. And so
For sure, man. I agree, and I can feel you on all that, because you know, I experienced the same thing with my grandparents on my dad's side. You know, I mean, I always had, you know, a good relationship with them in terms of like exposure to them. I was always with them, you know, in the summer times and things. But once they got sick, they were in Florida, and you know, Gabby and I and my family, we went down there as much as we could. But you know, I looked at those times and I said, you know, these could potentially be the last times I see them, you know?
Yes.
So you gotta, you know, that's something that I am trying to get better with, is living in the moment and enjoying that moment.
Being present.
Yeah. And being present in that moment, because it's just so important. And unfortunately, you know, sometimes I find myself, you know, not doing that. And it's just so important. But then to add on to that too, you know, the effort goes, again, it's all about effort, and it's so important.
This whole life is.
I came to visit you in September of 2019. And when I visited, obviously I came to Tampa, you know, we spent most of our time in Tampa, but you know, you driving me to go see my grandma, like you know, I was kind of hesitant, you know, I didn't know, you know, I hadn't seen her in a while. Like I was nervous about seeing her, you know, and what kind of, you know, state she was going to be in. I hadn't heard great things. Right. And over the course of time, I was like, no, this makes sense. I'm in Florida, you know, Quack is definitely up to do it. And, you know, again, another thank you to you. Because,
no.
Dude, at the end of the day, that was the last time I saw her. You know? So, you know, it's so important to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves, because if you don't, you know, you're going to live with that regret. And it's just, it's not a good feeling living with that regret.
No, listen, I agree fully, man. That's it really does come down to those moments of conversation and those moments of being able to spend time with people you care about. So it's or experience. Like I was just talking to my brother, and you know how cheap and frugal I am in terms of almost everything on planet Earth. But he was telling me about he had a buddy out in Denver right now, and he had a chance to get cheap flights for Memorial Day. I go, bro, take it, take the trip, get out, go to Denver for 4 nights. I was like, because you know what, if you don't get the chance to ever go back, you're gonna be disappointed.
For sure, man.
I booked flights. My buddy Mauricio down here and his brothers were headed out to Grand Teton over in Wyoming, and it was actually the same. It fell on my birthday. It fell on my birthday. Like, it was literally perfect. And I ended up canceling because of my old job and not working out. So so I definitely am extremely, like, looking back now, I'm pissed that I did not nut up and just go on the trip and take all the worries that I was having and say, shut the fuck up and go on this trip. And now I like, they had an amazing trip. They backpacked for 4 days and hiked like 100 miles in 4 days. And it was a beautiful trip. But I made the decision to not. So now I get to live with that. So same kind of concept. If you're lucky enough to have grandparents still alive, then just take a few moments to just say what's up, say how's it going, and it's and the same goes for friends, because you really don't know what somebody's going through. Even your best friends, you really don't know. So it's worth just the small effort to say hey. It really is.
100%, dude. Yeah. And another thing to add on to that, you said, you couldn't do that because of your job, and you were nervous, and you may have had a lot of work to do or whatever. And something that I've realized a lot in the last few months is that, the person you are and what you have, in that big noggin of yours, I should be talking about me, right? But in your head, right, is more important, and your job shouldn't define who you are.
No.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes, because I'm very hard on myself.
Yep.
And as you are, but I'm very hard on myself, where I'm so worried about, so many things, and I'm not remembering, right? Like, I'm a great person, right? I care very much about other people, and just because I had a bad day at work doesn't define the person who I am,
Yep. No, you're 100% right. And it doesn't define who you are in terms of what you're doing in your life. Like, we're 26 years old. If you think on the 100-year scale, we just started. If we're lucky enough to live to 100, we just started the second quarter. We are still in the baby stage, man. It's still, there's still so many opportunities that we could take in this life that, and I know you're going to open up a gym someday. I know it's a fact. I know it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of finding the right connection. It's a matter of finding the right timing. It's all timing. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I know that I'm going to own my ranch. I know I'm going to own my ranch someday. I just know that it's not the right time right now. So I have to do my time here and enjoy it. And like you were saying before, be present in this time.
Exactly.
And like you were saying about overthinking, and I'm sure you do the same thing. At times I overthink to the point where I don't enjoy my current stage. So for example, our senior year, I was thinking about a lot of other shit, of coming down here, of figuring life out, of what I want to do, of graduating, right? When I should have been, shut the fuck up, enjoy every day you have here, because you have the rest of your life to worry and work. So might as well enjoy it now. So, and I know we both, to both of our demises at times, we are worriers.
Right. Yeah. No. And to add on to that really quick, the funniest thing, and I immediately just had a flashback. I remember the two of us, because we loved being with each other. We're really close, whatever. I remember you saying, like, every day you came over, back to what I was saying, like, after work you'd come over and we'd hang out. I remember you and I looking at each other and being like, can you believe it's only 20 more days until we graduate?
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude.
We did that so much, man. Oh my gosh.
The whole it's crazy how fast time goes, period. But it's amazing how you just blink an eye and shit flies by, man. It's like you were saying, you have to be present, you have to be in the moment, because at the end of the day, I could stand up right now and have a brain hemorrhage out of nowhere and die on the floor in my bedroom immediately. And there always is that possibility. I obviously, you don't want to think that way, but there, in terms of worrying, but in terms of living, you have to think, this is a physical form. This is finite. I only have a finite amount of time. One of the ways that I've heard it said was that really got me interested in it, or not interested, I shouldn't say that, but clicked for me, was somebody said the minute that you're born, you're dying. The second that you're born, you're immediately on your way to dying.
Right.
It's there's no other way around it. So whether that way of dying is in 1 minute and you die at birth, or whether it's 100 years, you're on the way to dying.
Yep.
So kind of to come full circle here, it might as well create a positive ripple doing it. Might as well create something that creates your best form, whether that is your best health form or your best person form, your best whatever your purpose is. So luckily, I think I have found my purpose, which is I want to create the largest positive ripple on planet Earth. Now I'm just trying to figure out how.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I figured out the goal and the purpose, but now it's just the path and the how. So and I think we're all trying to figure that out. So I think it's enjoyable. You have to enjoy, like we talked about, you have to enjoy the suck. You have to enjoy the unknown, and enjoy the present, because the present is in reality the only thing we have.
Oh, 100%, dude. I agree.
But that was an awesome conversation, my friend. I really appreciate you being on here. Before we run and before I let you go have your Sunday back, and I appreciate you giving up your Sunday for me.
No worries.
I had two kind of last questions to round out the show with you.
Yep.
That I want which I don't know why I didn't think of doing this earlier, and it took 23 episodes to get here, but I did finally think about this. But when I bring a guest on, I want to ask them these two questions. And the second question I started asking people our senior year, and it really blew my fucking mind, the answers I got. Because again, it goes back to, you think you know people, and you think you know the answers that they're gonna say, or you think you might know, and then people just shock you. So I really want your honest answers here, sir, just like you've been doing the whole time. I don't think there is an unhonest bone in Mr. Robbie Sanders. Like you said, it's a bigger chance of brutally honest than than dishonest. But first off, sir, what makes you happy? What brings you back to that childhood, that 1-year-old with a smash cake in his face? What brings you that happiness?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say what brings me happiness is two things. One is honestly what we're both doing now, like putting positive things out and getting positive reinforcement, right? That's an awesome feeling. And being with family, that does make me happy. It does. Being with my girlfriend, being with her family, and honestly, as corny as this is to say, and it would be a lot of other people's answers as well, but sports is what makes me happy, man. I live and breathe sports. I'm, as you know, huge Giant and Yankee fan. So yeah, man, I mean, I would say sports, family, Gab and her family, and making people happy, man, and making people laugh. That's the most enjoyable thing on earth, I think.
Humor is definitely in your repertoire there, sir. I can definitely remember countless cafeteria excursions where we'd be peeing our pants laughing at something that you said that you want to eat your hands for, but
yep, exactly, man. Oh man, no. I remember those days like it was yesterday. I really do.
Oh, dude. But no, that's awesome. And listen, that's what and it's funny you say it, and to fall back on corny, because I'm a corny guy, but we went to E-Town, and they always said educate for service, and I can honestly say in the 4 years I was there, I probably never thought about that once. I didn't think of that in the slightest of bit in the entire 4 years I was at the college.
Yep.
However, a couple of years later, it kind of clicks, and you're just like, that positive ripple is for, I want to do a positive ripple on the planet, on people, on animals, on everything, on just be like, if you're gonna be living in this world, might as well create something good. Like, and if your good is is I'm a diehard coffee guy. I want to create a coffee company
Mhm.
that is a good coffee company that creates a good product, but also has a good positive ripple.
Yep.
Go dive headfirst into it. If you want to start a gym, if you want to own a ranch, whatever you want to do,
Yeah,
do
for
it well,
sure.
do it enjoyably, and create something positive.
I love it.
And then last but not least, sir, if money didn't matter, what would you spend your time doing?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, dude, and again, I've said this countless times on this call. I don't really care what people think, so
No,
I'm just gonna
fuck
say
no.
it. Something that is really enjoyable to me is, growing up my whole life. My parents weren't big picture takers. They weren't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get the camcorder out and
Yeah,
record
yeah.
Robbie's birthday, blowing the
Mm-hmm.
candles out, right? My grandma did that.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma on my mom's side. So a shout out to her. I love being able to go over her house every
Yes.
once in a while and be able to watch those videos and see even before my grandpa passed away. Even he
Yes.
did it,
Yep.
right. He recorded all of us doing things, and I would love to be a YouTuber, dude. Like I would find that to be so fun. I've seen so many things on YouTube, in the last, I would say, 2 years of just people, you know, like you said, putting positive content out there, making people laugh, making people happy, and it's cool, man. It's cool to
Yeah.
see, and it's so funny. There's a YouTuber actually that grew up in Sparta. His
Okay.
name's Jesse James West. He's like a fitness influencer slash YouTuber, and it's cool, man. It's cool to see someone in Sparta, right, being able to be a YouTuber and have 500,000 subscribers, and make people just want to watch every single time,
Yes.
and documenting his
Yeah.
whole life. And it's super cool, man. It's super cool. So if money didn't matter, I'd say doing something like that, because I love videoing things. I love photography. I love that kind of stuff. I'm not like big into it where I'm out taking pictures and things like that, but I've always found that to be really cool because my whole childhood has been documented on video.
That's really cool, man. That's really cool. And again, right from the freaking start of me asking this question, of somebody that I know pretty well, or I consider I know pretty well, and you kind of shocked me with, not shocked me, but you surprised me with the answer.
Yeah,
And
man.
I love that. And that's awesome, dude. And to that kind of point, with your example with your buddy, or the guy from Sparta, I should say. As much as we and especially and at times in this podcast have negatively talked about of social media, like how catty it is, and all the it. Walking down Clearwater Beach, you see fucking these people posting or posing for Instagram photos every fucking
Yep.
every 6 feet.
Yep.
But it really is the great equalizer. It allows you to if you start creating just Robbie rants, and all of a sudden Robbie rants in a year from now is you do a minute rant every day, 60-second Robbie rants, and all of a sudden a year from now you have 1 million views or 1 million subscribers, because your 60 seconds a day make people better, make people happier, make people laugh, and people, like you said, like when they're on their shitter in the morning, they go, what's Robbie's rant today? And go and look at Robbie's rant. Like that's the equalizer the internet is. As many negatives as it is a equalizer of opportunity to create, if you're willing to create, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, you gotta put yourself out there. If
Yes.
you can't look back in 5 years and say, oh, I wish I did that, because you'll just keep doing that for the rest of your life. So
yep, that's a great, let's end on that, fella. That's a great way to end. Mr. Robbie Sanders, I can't thank you enough for being on here today and spending some time on your Sunday talking to my dumbass. So I greatly appreciate that, sir. And I appreciate having a true, honest, positive conversation with you, fella.
thanks for having me, man.
No,
I appreciate it.
I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you. Namaste. Always be grateful. Fire to happiness. And remember, average fucking sucks.